Hey, hello friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I'm so excited to take you back to your first coding session. Today we're going to be learning about how to create a web page and how to start writing some basic HTML code. All right, so from our previous video, this is our workspace we created in VS Code. And if you look at things, this is the name of our folder. Now it's empty because we've not created any page to start working on. All right, today we're going to be learning about few things on the HTML. Today's topic is going to be first page. It's going to be index.html, and the topic we'll be talking about is syntax, HTML tags, elements, and attributes. So below are listed here what we're going to be doing. Well, I know things may be kind of small, short, and very brief right now. It got to be so because this is your basic and you need to understand the little things as well before getting into complex stuffs. So just take your time to learn one thing after the other. And I'll also share links that you can visit to try out some things and see different source of information. So let's get back. Now our first page is going to be index.html. Okay, right. Don't forget, I told you our first page, we're going to be saving it as index.html because right now we are building an HTML web page. That simply means that HTML is the markup, is a hypertext markup language. It is used to structure the layout of your page. Do you understand? Before starting off designing and doing other implementations. So we are starting with HTML and then we're going to be saving a file as .html as well. So let's go back to our VS Code. So to create a new file, just follow my console, press new file, and you'll see this is a text box. You should write the name of the file. So I'll go ahead and say index, was a capital letter, index.html. Okay, so I'll save that. Right now we have a web page right now that is empty. This page is what we're going to be building on right now. So to start building on this page, HTML has some root tags that are used to create the document page. So without those tags, your HTML web page is not defined. So to start on, I would say now you see, immediately I pressed my left angle bracket. VS Code suggested so many things. What does that mean? This tells you that if you want to create a tag, you create a tag by using the angle brackets and the name of the tags, open and close. All right. So now immediately I press the open tag, VS Code automatically knew that I want to create a tag. So automatically it suggested tags for me. If there's no tag, if among all these tags, if the one I want to use is not here, I'll just go ahead and create it by myself. But I think what I want is right here. This is what I want to do. So this is doc type. Let me click on it. It's a doc type simply means telling the browser that this kind of document you are creating, this kind of web page you are creating, it's actually for this kind of language. Now it's a doc type and give it a value called HTML, which means that right now we are creating an HTML document. Okay. All right. So after this tag, we're going to be taking the root tag, which is going to be HTML. I'll press enter now to see. So I've created a root tag. This tag wraps around all every other tags. We call it the parent tag, and some other persons call it root tag as well. Then what first let's talk about HTML tags. HTML the HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. What does that mean? That it means that the HTML element is from the start tag to the end tag. This is your start tag and this is your end tag. How do you know this is your end tag? You see, at the beginning of this one, we put slash before writing the HTML. Then at the beginning of this one, we put nothing. We just go ahead and write HTML direct. So that's your that's that's what they call element. So whatever you're going to put in the middle, plus your content and your two tags with it makes up your HTML element. So let's get rid of this one. I'm not writing right here. Before start writing your code, there are few tags we're going to be including, and I will basically explain them before we can start writing our code. So let's just rush down. After getting our root tag, let's go to our head tag. I will say head root, and we have our head tag. Now, what does this head tag does? This head tags wraps around informations that are not allowed to be displayed on your browser. Okay, when you visit a web page, you are only allowed to see the content that you want to read. Let's say, for example, a blog website. Then you go there, you read information maybe about education. Those are the only thing you're allowed to see. Okay. Now you see pictures on your web page and you see videos. There are places whereby those videos and pictures are actually called into your web page. Okay, they were called by some link, some certain link, some reference link. You cannot see those link, but you can only see the resources of what those link does. So those are the kind of content that are put between your head page. So let's go ahead and write some head content. Now I'm going to say title presenter. So, and I'll say my first web page. So this title describe what your web page is all about on the title bar of your browser. So let me show you that. So we go back to our browser, you see we have HTML attributes. So this is actually a web page, right? Okay. Let me take it to somewhere else. This is actually a web page on this tab. Okay. And this is their title and it describes what the page is all about. So that's it. So let's get back to our VS Code. So right now we are using these title tags to describe our web page. So that's that. So let's keep some other title tags, right? Some other heading tags and go straight to our body and start writing code. Now, the things you are allowed to see on a web page or the content which you allow people to read, to see, to consume on your web page has to be stored on the body tag. So let's go ahead and create our body tags. We have our body tags now. So within this body, we can start writing all our codes right here. We start writing all our codes. So let's get back to our notes. Now we'll be talking about HTML syntax and elements, HTML tags, elements, attributes. So we said the HTML elements is everything from the start tag to the end tag. Now let's go down. Example of some HTML elements. We have the H1 tag that is used for creating headings. So let's go ahead and test that. Now I will say H1, H1, and now say my what? My first web page. Oh, okay, so that's it. Now, these are the things will allow users to see on the browser, the Windows document. So now let's run this web page on our browser and see the output if we have any error or not. So I'll go to open in default browser. So let's wait a minute while we get that. Yeah, we have our first web page right now. Congratulations, you just created your first web page and you just written your first code. I'm happy for your success getting you started and getting to see you writing your first code. And this is just the beginning. We have a lot to explore. We have so much magic to do. All right. So let's, like I told you, this is our title, my first web page, which was written here. If I change it to something, I'll say, let me change it to my title. Okay, it's changed back to my title. Like I told you, the only things you visitors can be able to consume are within the browser, the document body. But those stuff that are not their concerns are like in the header, which is example the title and some other links that you're going to be creating around somewhere here. Okay, so let's go. Now we just use a heading tag. Okay, let me change the contents. I would say this is a heading tag. So let's change our content. Yeah. So we change the content to heading tags. Now heading tags are practically for creating headings of your content. And heading tags are very, we have H2 as well. And say this is another heading tag. Let's view that on our browser. Yeah. So if you look at it clearly, the second heading tag is smaller than the first one. So that's how it works. H3, this is the third heading tag. So let's view that in our browser as well. Yeah, as we keep using the big figures, we keep getting smaller contents. So this depends on how you want your web page to be structured, how you want to format your content. Do you understand? So practically that's it. Let's move on to another tag. There are up to six. Let me just write all of them, or I'll say this is the fourth heading tag, H5. This is the fifth heading tag. Okay, H6. Now that H6 is the sixth heading tag. All right, let's view all of them. So the sixth one is the smallest one, followed by the fifth one, the fourth one, the third one, the second, and the first one. So it depends on how you want your whole lot of web page to be what formatted. So let's head over to another tag. So let's talk about paragraph tag. Now, what this paragraph tag does is you use this paragraph tag to write the paragraph content of your web page. You know, when we were writing later back in schools, we do write after, let's say, we want to write an essay to our uncle. You know, we will have to talk about what we are going to tell our uncle. Maybe we want to tell our uncle a short story about our vacation during the holiday. Then that should be the heading of our letter. So the heading of our letter goes like this sometimes. Uh, short essay about your holiday. You understand? So to view this short essay about your holiday, now you're gonna start writing what's on your mind, what happened during the holiday. So we're gonna say during my holidays, uncle took me to ShopRite and we bought beautiful stuffs. But beautiful stuff. Yeah. We also went to visit amusement park. Uh, amusement parks. All right. In Los Angeles, we we went to the Jurassic Park as well to see dinosaurs, see Jurassic, right? So let's run that. Right. Do you see that this came up as a very long test? Now you can feel the difference between this test and this ones. So this is what a P tag does. It is basically for writing your paragraphs. It's basically for writing your paragraphs. So as we keep on writing more codes, we will structure our web page, and at the same time, we're going to do a lot of things like styling and layouting our page. There are some some tags we're going to use to take some of these headings out. Okay, so now let's talk about another thing, attributes. The attributes provide additional information about elements. The, the anchor tags defines a hyperlink. The href attributes specifies the URL of the web page the link goes to. Okay, so let's get that. Now we have a tag. So this is another tags. This one actually is a link tag that takes you to a different page entirely, maybe within your website or outside your website. So this this href inside this tag is actually attribute. Now we have sroc attribute. This is a source attribute. Okay. This source attribute is actually an attribute that's used to get information from a different source. It could be another folder of the same page or getting an information on the same page to display on this particular section. But we don't use SR source tag, source attribute on Apple tags. Right. So let me take for example, I want us to click, and whenever we click, it should take us to Google. So I'm just going to write Google right here and say www.google.com and come to this content environment and say visit Google. Right, so let's refresh that. So you see, visit Google. If I click on it, it's going to take me to Google, hopefully. All right, let me do that right now. Oh, it said no search file or directory. Okay, so this is not how to do it because this, when I say google.com just freely like this, it means that this is a page that is within our website folder. Okay, now I need to make it an official link that shows that is an external link. To do that, I will say https semicolon slash www.google.com. Okay, so let's go back to our web browser. So we got it and click on it right. Yeah, we've arrived in Google. So this is Google. So we're able to visit Google directly from our own personal web page. On in our next video, I'll take time to explain some of the reasons why we had errors when we wrote google.com and we were unable to visit Google directly. But after specifying https slash www.google, we are now able to visit Google. I will explain that later. So this is an example of what attribute is, adding additional information to your tag. All right. On this heading tag, I can add another additional information to this tag. Maybe I want to give this tag a red color, or I want to give it a background color of black or pink, whatever. So we have those kind of attributes that can do that precisely for us. So I hope you learned something from this video. So take note of everything you have learned. Take time to practicalize them or visit other websites that teach more about coding. With what you've learned, take challenges and come back.